Okay, in this video, I'm going to have a look at our junk shed behind me. It's not really used, we just throw stuff in there. I've got a load of wood and that was left in the property. So I'm going to clear this shed out, sort out what's good and bad, hopefully put a floor in there and make it a lot more usable. So a lot of hard work ahead, I think, in the Lapland sunshine. Again, it's 20 odd degrees today, absolutely beautiful. So here's our bunch of sheds. On the end, I've got the sauna and party fridge now. My tool shed in the middle, and this is our junk shed. So we'll have a look inside. I'll show you what it's like. So, like I say, a lot of junk just piled in here. It's a mud floor or a wood chip floor at the moment. I'm going to empty everything out of here and then try and look up and start with a floor in and make it a lot more usable. So I've cleared the shed. There was lots of wood in there that I'd stored away and various people had stored away over the years. My gutter in, some bits and bobs of rubbish. I threw a couple of bags of rubbish away. There's all our empty cans. Each one of those is worth one crown or sec. So you need to recycle those. We've tried a couple of times, but the machine doesn't work. I scraped up all the ground in here. And there's a little look down. It's just dirt and sawdust and scraps of bits of wood and bark. But I did find this newspaper in the ground from 14th of July 1998. So almost to the day, 35 years ago. And as you can see, it's so dry here, even things on the floor, the newspaper hasn't even gone to waste or moulded. So I look inside, it's quite big. It's probably about 12-13 foot, almost square. So what I'm going to do now is put some beams across here from my scrap wood over these edges and get the base in for putting the floorboards down. So that's what I'm going to do, go and cut those and start nailing them in. One good thing is when you're clearing in here, there really are no spider webs, no creatures. There's maybe the odd little web, but nothing waiting to get you. The only things I can see is there's been some sort of nest there, probably a bee's nest, probably a couple of wasp nests there. There are snakes here, but I made plenty of noise and can see no sign of any snakes, so I think we're all good. There's a few weird things still hanging up, little tools. There was a big saw hanging up over there. It kind of looks a bit grisly, but it's all going to look nice in the end. So this is my scrap wood pile that came with the house. I'm thinking it's really super thick stuff, but the wider stuff I'm going to use for floorboards, and this smaller, squarer stuff I'm going to use for the beams across the floor. So they're not all dead straight. This has been out here for years, at least probably 10 years. Probably going to start with that one, drag it over and see if it's big enough to start with. It looks like it should be. I think they're 4 meters long, some of these, but I'll get that set up and have a look. So I've cut one to length, got the next one out. There's a lot more I can cut off this one. You see it's bent at the ends, but the middle straight. So I'm going to use my precision saw and just chop through this. And then I'll cut the other end now. So I've just loosely fitted them in at the moment. But I think that's going to do a good job. What I'm going to do is nail them down at the ends, and in probably 3 places across the middle I'm going to put the traditional method of putting rocks. I've got lots of boulders laying about, and that'll support them. I can walk about on them now. Obviously they're a little bit bendy in the middle, but if I put some rocks under there, that will at least support them up, and that's keeping that ground nice and clear for airflow as well. So I've fitted all the rocks underneath, so everywhere there's a beam that can come down is supported with a big stone, give it a bit of support. Obviously when I put the floorboards in, that's going to sort of tie it all together as well. So what I'll do now is measure the depth and start cutting some of the thick floorboards that are going to go on top of all this. So just over halfway through the flooring. It's really strong and thick. It's going in well. The shape of the building is a bit off of square, but I'm sure I can tidy that up when I get to the end of there. I've also just padded out some of the beams to get it more level. But it's going in well. Used up all the wider planks on the smaller ones now, but it's all solid. It's going to last forever, or last as long as me at least. I will be raising the door when I've finished, so I can see it's been infilled and lowered before, so just be a case of chopping out the top and raising the door up a little bit. So that's the floor all fitted. It was a little bit off square, a hair off square. I've just padded it out at the end there with a beam. As you can see, it's not completely even, but it's a hell of a nicer in here now. This shed is all full of gaps all the way around, but this is going to be perfect for storing wood and with the airflow from up from below and side to side will help dry out any wood we put in here. It's actually just started raining, so our good weather's come to a sudden end with a little storm. Got the light on in here now, and I've hung it off the biggest nail I've ever seen, which happens to be nailed into the side of the shed. So I'm just going to look at cutting this door out now, raising the door and sealing off the bottom. So that'll be the next stage. Looking at this door, the hinges are nailed on, but it looks like the door will lift off, so I'll probably lift off the door first of all and try and remove the hinges and cut some of this wood out. So handiwork, chainsaw handiwork. Cut the top off. I put a little beam across the top and this little beam across the bottom. Sort of interesting wood. I'm now going to fit a plank. I moved the hinges up, managed to persuade them out with a little help from a chisel and a hammer as one of the nails, but I've screwed them in now, and this thing at the bottom, the sort of plinth, I've nailed and screwed it on. I'm just going to put a plank of wood across there now and then look at building a step. Also made a new little catch. I couldn't really get the other one out, so I made one out of a nail. So I filled in that gap at the bottom and made a simple little step out of 2 logs from the tree I recovered last year and a couple of bits of the scrap wood. So I stood a little gap in the door, but there always was. But we'll call that a ventilation hole. I'm not going to bother filling it in because anything could really get in there anyway if it wanted to. Anything smaller than that. But turned it into a really usable shed. It does feel really strong and nice in here. It's great. I'm now going to start filling it with wood and some of the stuff out there, and I think also I might end up putting my fishing kit on in this shed as well. It's certainly big enough. I think it was 3.25 wide by 2.9 meters deep, so roughly about a 10 square meter shed with a 3-inch thick floor. But no, it's going to be superb. So I hope you enjoyed the shed upgrade video. It certainly is a big improvement to using it. I've got to refill it now. I think the fishing kit might make a home in there as well. And once again, thanks everyone for liking, watching, subscribing. Really encouraging, and we'll have another video soon.